Welcome back, Tribe. Got one here from Insolent Audits. Excuse me, the beginning made me laugh. It just starts off hot.
Men don't protect women, okay? Men protect their own interests. And if one of their interests happens to be a woman, then yeah, they'll be protected. But generally speaking, men are not out there protecting women. They're out there attacking women, and we are then needing the protection in the first place. It seems almost like men are purposely trying to make themselves useful by being protectors, by being the type of men that we need protection from. And I don't like it.
Oh, Jesus, take the freaking wheel on this. You do realize that you guys are the reason that most of us look over our shoulders and are aware of our surroundings in dark parking lots, right? You do realize happened because of men, right? You do realize that the right to bear arms also applies to women, right? I'd be willing to bet if you asked, I don't know, go find 10 random women and ask them the most horrific abuse in their life, if it was at the hands of a female or if it was at the hands of a male. We've been protecting ourselves for a long time, sir. We do not need you or your boys club to do it for us. Start protecting women. Boy, did you get drunk and get on the internet and start typing dumb shit? Maybe y'all could, I don't know, start protecting women. No, but y'all tend to act like y'all didn't see the shit that your friend did to so-and-so at a party, and yeah, y'all suddenly get amnesia and y'all blind to that. Get the out of here with this shit.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
Okay, so does saying men are the reason she looks over her shoulder at night actually discredit men protecting her? I guess she didn't think that one through. Violations happen because of men, because women can never violate anyone, right? Also, men get violated at a higher rate than women, but let's ignore that fact. The right to bear arms is great, but very few women use that in the US. For example, according to the WSF, link in the description, of the concealed carry holders in the state of Florida, only 1/3 of them are women. Also, according to the Medical University of South Carolina, link in the description, sexual mistreatment by a woman partner has been reported by up to 50% of lesbians. Psychological mistreatment has been reported as occurring at...
By the way, this rhetoric about we're protecting ourselves from men because it's men causing all the issues is such a freaking fallacy. Coming from people that live in the most protected class, in the most protected society in the world. Like, they have no idea what it's like. Imagine living in Afghanistan as a woman. Imagine somewhere in the Middle East that's war-torn, or Africa, or wherever in the globe that's experiencing instability and war. You have no idea what an incredible society we've built in the West for women, especially. And it's these ones that are complaining about inequality the most. It's wild to me that they have never stepped foot outside this country to see how women get treated in other parts of the world. We've made quite a bit of progress here, yet these are the ones complaining the loudest. Make it make sense. And on top of that, because there are evil people in the world, it's just statistically a thing. No matter what you do, men and women, there will be evil ones in the world. The men that are evil and do evil get lumped in with what it means to be a man and masculine. In general, it doesn't matter. When one mentally ill person that happens to be a male, that's like homeless or drug addicted or prone to violence from mental instability, it's all men. It's men failing as a whole. Instead of placing the blame on the one person, we do that thing you're not supposed to do, is blaming an entire group for the actions of one. But okay. Since you're so strong and independent, go exercise your 2A rights and carry on you all the time in case something ever does happen. You can pull your piece out and solve your own problem. But you don't. You still want a man to protect you. You still need men to enforce safety in society, following the rules, punishing those who don't, and in general being enforcers so that society as a whole is stable. Because what happens when these enforcers disappear or stop doing their jobs? Crime explodes, tribalism begins, factions are created, this side versus that side, civil wars, you name it. It happens all over the world. It's currently happening right now. And until the bodies don't start piling up in the streets, we're going to keep getting this rhetoric from people that live in this protected bubble because they don't understand the realities of the world. Again, how sad is it that we've come to this point in Western society where it's man versus woman instead of understanding this rich culture that we've built up because it was men and women together, because the nuclear family, because building a legacy, multi-generational one for your kids, grandkids. Now it's all me, me, me. My neighbor's my enemy. That other gender's the enemy. Everything is the enemy. We're being divided up into infinitely smaller boxes of pronouns this, ideology that, and it's never ending. Never ending. All part of the ploy.
I'm going to go one step further and say that the majority of men do not actually protect women in this way.
See?
Like, they talk a lot of shit, right? But in the past, whenever I think about it in relationships, it is
Look at the brainwashing. Cis men.
very rare that a man who would consider himself a protector or a man who would fit within that like traditional gender binary role, which they were all like cis men, that they would actually protect me whenever I needed to be protected from other men. Specifically from other men. I have had more significant protection from fellow non-men than I have from men. Like,
Non-men.
overwhelmingly.
Fellow non-men. Women. Ladies. Is this what we're calling the other half now? Non-men?
And I am talking about active protection. I'm not talking about passive protection, because I know that a lot of cis men do passively, without knowing, protect women or non-men just by existing around them. I'm just going to tell a couple of anecdotal stories. One time I was holding a party in my apartment. I was dating a cis man at the time. I was actually roommates with 2 cis men at the time. There was a man who showed up with a gun in the apartment. He was belligerently drunk. Neither of the men in my apartment had confronted him to leave or told him to leave or called the authorities or anything.
No ship, lady. I wouldn't face down a gunman for your feels unless you were my family member. All this talk about cis men not protecting you. Does equality go out the window when danger is present? Sister, you can't pick and choose when equality and gender roles should apply. You are liberated with your boss.
This reminds me of that one, man, I think I covered it like a year ago. There was a situation in which a woman got assaulted on a public transportation bus, and people were sitting around filming it, watching, or just paralyzed in fear. And then it ended up coming out in the news that, of course, nobody did anything. There was a little outrage, and then the conversation in the general mainstream was like, men aren't men anymore, men aren't doing their jobs, or we live in a society where everybody's out for themselves and nobody's doing the things that would be expected of you as a man, like saving the day and protecting people in general. Of course not, because you'll get sued over anything today. You'll get demonized for protecting. We have literal multiple cases, not in the last year alone, of men stepping up to protect, and they have been demonized in the media. You get punished for being a good citizen today in the West, unfortunately. The message is loud and clear. Mind your own business. Do not get in a bad guy's way when he's committing a robbery or whatever, assaulting somebody in public, because you will face the repercussions for beating them down, for injuring them in some manner, for getting in the way and maybe taking their life if you decide to exercise your 2A amendment. There are multiple things that will get you in trouble for simply being an upstanding citizen, and it's not worth the scrutiny anymore. Unless it is your immediate family member or your wife, whatever, don't get involved. Don't be the man that they're claiming you should be. Society will not reward you for it and will turn your life upside down. That message, loud and clear, men are starting to follow it. And this is why we have the social fabric of society absolutely down in the gutter today, where you're seeing people do all sorts of crazy stuff. Flash mobs in malls and stores, people just looting stuff left and right. Police aren't even getting involved. Nothing matters anymore. We're headed towards a more lawless state of existence in the West, all because we want to appease this woke narrative that's being artificially implanted into the popular culture today. It is what it is, man. I'm here in Eastern Europe, what was considered third world, now probably second world, teetering on first world country. And I am safer than I could ever be in any city in America at any time of the day. I don't worry about getting stabbed. Don't worry about getting shot. I don't worry about nothing. When I first flew in here, I was prowling the streets because I couldn't sleep for the time difference. 3, 4 in the morning, sketchy alleyways, nothing felt completely safe. I had no problem. Living in any city, I lived in LA, Atlanta, Phoenix, all these other places in the United States, absolutely will not catch me after dark in any of those parts of the city. We've seen too many videos. There are too many homeless people around. It just takes one look, one unhinged move from somebody to get you involved in some crazy shit in the United States, at least. I know parts of Western Europe are the same, in like France, the UK and whatnot, Germany, but I'm good. Sweden, all those places that used to be like the pillars of Western society have turned to absolute shit. Crime waves, homelessness, just depravity everywhere. I'm good, dude. Eastern Europe is safe. Eastern Europe is nice. I have zero complaints. And men here are still expected to act like men. Women are still expected to act like women. We have our defined, rigid gender roles. We're still traditional. And if you're seen doing something to somebody, people will step in and do something to you. And no, you're not going to be demonized on the media. You're just going to get some help from other men who are going to beat your freaking teeth in and send you into the emergency room.
I was incredibly upset. So upset. And I remember thinking to myself, these men aren't going to protect me. So I approached the man myself. I went up to him and I said, hey, I don't know who you are. You got to go. And everybody just froze. Everybody paused and froze because they were like, again, this belligerent, white man with a gun in my apartment. And I was like, if y'all ain't gonna say something, I'm gonna have to say it. And the thing is, women of color and non-men of color have been saying this shit for forever. We've been saying this for decades, that y'all are not protecting us. Y'all are the ones who are hurting us. Because either your inaction, your cowardice, or your protection, or your lack of advocacy and your lack of allyship, all of it is contributing to our harm. Like, you're not protecting us. You're protecting yourselves. Another anecdotal story where a non-men protected me in a way that men simply just have not. I was out clubbing with my girlfriends. It was a girls' night. We were not trying to get attention from men. But I kept getting my arm grabbed. I kept getting, men were just on one harassing me that night. And I remember there was a man who catcalled me, right? And the girlfriend that I was with at the time looked at him and she said, shut.
Wow, she told the guy to shut up. What, she couldn't say that herself? Where do these queens get the entitlement mentality that men must protect her? Nope. Your personal safety is your job. Men have given you what you want. All the freedom with all the responsibility.
See what some of the comments say. Women are equal. They don't need male protection, equal rights, equal lefts. Yeah, that's starting to be a mainstream thought process for a lot of men, simply because that's what we've been told. I mean, the narrative from the fourth wave gynocracy is that we don't need you. We could do it all ourselves. I don't need you to protect me. Well, fine. Now, when you're left alone and then somebody who's physically far stronger than you starts to take advantage and there's nobody around to enforce the rules of society because bad people exist, you're going to have to deal with the consequences and they will not be pretty. Innocent lives will be lost, all for nothing, just to appease the narrative. A group of people that have amassed power at the top of society that live with these luxury beliefs which do not affect them and have zero consequences in their lives, although they affect this cultural change, we're the only ones that get punished for it. We live in reality. We need one another, men and women. That's how we achieve upward mobility socially. But the people at the top with all the money and all the time in the world with their fingers up their ass to literally think up the worst ideas imaginable because they have nothing better to do with their lives, and they want to feel a sense of worth, accomplishment, and importance, distill down the dumbest ideas of all time that have absolutely nothing to do with the real world or the lives of ordinary people, and to their disastrous effects will continue coming up with stupid ideas until the general population decides to finally get involved in politics, do their civic duty, and kick out all these morons from every crease and corner of government. Because this will not stop until we do that. I'm telling you right now, this will be a never-ending cycle until the average person becomes so destitute, so hopeless and lost that the only way they can take back control is by getting back in those positions of power within government, or it gets bloody in the streets. It's better that we just do this democratically. Why do we have to constantly go repeat history and get to the point where violence is inevitable? Don't understand. Boy, oh boy. We really are just simple apes, huh? Well, I guess that's why they say, enjoy the decline, eh? We're going to go out with a bang or a whimper. We'll see. See you guys on the next one. Hey everyone, if you have a minute, please head over to legionofmen.store and grab yourself some cool merch as well. We have a bunch of limited edition designs, brand new stuff on the way, and all the proceeds go to supporting the channel. We don't want to be sponsored by corporations where we have to submit videos for review, have our speech impeded, or push any products that we don't use. So thank you so much to everybody that goes into the shop. Again, it's legionofmen.store. I'll put it up here for you guys. First time customers get a 10% off, and we have a bunch of great designs by artists from the community that watch the channel and support. They get proceeds as well, a percentage of everything that gets sold. So community funded through and through. Again, appreciate you guys.